Before we get started, I just want to apologize for any jarring audio quality changes or if it sounds a little bit different. Just the nature of my setup. It's not always consistent where I'm standing, where the mic is positioned, and stuff like that. So I apologize if that's jarring or confusing or a little unexpected to anybody. How's it going, everybody? It's Devil Hunter Legion. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Rebellion, and we're going to cover its abilities, design, and in-universe history, in that order. So let's rock. Rebellion is a magic attribute weapon and acts as a manifestation of Dante's power. A statue on the property of Dante's childhood home depicts Sparta holding a dormant rebellion, highly implying that while in Sparta's hands, this was Rebellion's default form. A little bit of speculation on my part is that Rebellion's awakened form is the manifestation of Dante's power. Rebellion has the innate power to merge human and demon, although once Dante used it to separate Elena Houston from a demon possessing her in the anime, but ever since it was revealed that merging human and demon was Rebellion's power, this would mean that the exorcism was Dante's doing. Devil May Cry 2's Rebellion had a rather bland design. It had a horn skull on the crossguard and a rib cage, and has some kind of line work all over the sword. The pommel has a series of small spikes around it, and the blade itself is straight with some indents on the end. I'm not too sure what those indents are supposed to be called, so I'm just going to call them indents from now on. Rebellion makes a comeback in Devil May Cry 3 and takes the skeleton concept up a level and really starts to reflect Dante's hybrid nature. The handle has a spike on the pommel and is connected to the top of the dual-faced skull that acts as a center for the crossguard. One of the skulls has horns representing Dante's demon side. The skull is on a rib cage that leads into the blade, which now widens with a bit of a curve as it reaches the tip before indenting and forming the tip. For the first 7 missions, Rebellion is dormant and the arms are closed, sitting on either side of the ribs. After awakening, the demon side of the skull opens up as if screaming, revealing spiky teeth. The arms pull away from the ribs and are set at a 45-ish degree angle to better resemble a crossguard. The spike on the end also opens up into a series of spikes with one spike in the center. In the anime, the sword generally resembles a concept art from Devil May Cry 3, with the exception being that both skulls are closed and have horns. Devil May Cry 4's Rebellion is my favorite and is basically the Devil May Cry 3 concept art modeled on a console strong enough to render it well. It has the strongest silhouette and is featured in almost every crossover game that features Dante. The only notable change is that only the canine teeth are spiky on this one. 5 Rebellion gets a bit of a redesign like just about everything else in the game. It gets a more generic look as the arms are narrower with a curve that looks more like a traditional crossguard. The ribcage is now smaller with a sternum and a bit of spine. The blade reaches the crossguard now. It also has a rainbow gloss effect with Damascus steel patterns. The skull is open wider to give it a more screaming look, and all the teeth are spiky. Speaking of spikes, the horns are now coming out of the eye sockets. Probably because the mouth is open so wide, it's the only way to get the horns to angle well. The highlights on this version, in my opinion, come from the handle and the line work on the skull and little arms. The handle now has intricate woven texture to it, and the spikes on top come out at an angle and overlap, making it look as if it bloomed. 2,000 years ago, during Sparta's rebellion, the act, not the sword, he split his power into 3 devil swords. Rebellion was one of them. We don't know how, when, or if he used the sword, but he kept it all them years and left it as a memento for Dante. Since the release of Devil May Cry 5 and Before the Nightmare, the events of the original Devil May Cry novel have been reintroduced into the continuity, but one of the details that needs to be overlooked is that Dante wields Force Edge. Considering that Itsuno and the current Devil May Cry team have Rebellion as Dante's main weapon, and the novel takes place before Devil May Cry 3 manga, I think it's safe to say that Dante used Rebellion in this story. With that assumption, Tony used Rebellion to deal with the demons that attacked him. He used it to slay demons in the hospital where his friend's daughter was ill. After realizing who he truly was, Dante fought and defeated Gilbert. Sometime later, Dante takes Rebellion with him on his mission taken from a mysterious client. After confronting one of the 7 demons stripped of their names by Sparta, Rebellion temporarily awakened after being covered in Dante's blood. It gave him the power to fight off the demon before going dormant again after Virgil's arrival. After a short skirmish, Virgil announces his plans to raise a tower and leaves. During the Temenegru incident, Dante takes Rebellion and makes his way through various demons before meeting Virgil on the roof. Dante loses this fight and Virgil stabs him with a Rebellion, permanently awakening it and his inner demon. After a bunch more battles, Dante eventually fights Arkham, where Rebellion was shortly wielded by Virgil. Afterwards, Dante used it to defeat his twin, who wielded Force Edge and Yamato. In the anime, Dante usually carries Rebellion in a guitar case when he isn't using it. He uses it to fight various demons, the only really notable ones being Sparta's apprentices Baal and Modius, and Sid, who obtained the power of Abigail, a Demon King level opponent, and Dante one shot him with Devil Trigger. In the Devil May Cry 2 novel, Dante's main melee weapon is Rebellion. The biggest takeaway here is that he used it to utterly murk alternate universe Mundus. Like, he didn't even use Devil Trigger. Just absolutely destroyed him. A few months later, Dante is asked by Mate, an old war buddy of Sparta, to stop the evil CEO Arius and his master Argosax. Argosax was sealed by Sparta centuries prior and has power rivaling Mundus. Dante, wielding Rebellion, uses it to destroy just about everything he comes across on the job, except that goddamn helicopter. Anyways, Dante takes down Argosax with almost no difficulty. During Devil May Cry 4, Dante used Rebellion to kick Nero's ass a few times, along with some comparative nobodies and the Savior. Rebellion is used alongside Cerberus again in Devil May Cry 5 before the Nightmare to defeat Balrog at the request of Matier. In Devil May Cry 5, Dante uses Rebellion to fight Urizen. This doesn't work out so well as it can't break through the force field and Urizen shatters it in one punch. Rest in peace, Rebellion. It isn't seen again until later when Dante correctly assumes it will do some merging and stabs himself with the remains of the sword. It fuses itself and the Devil's Sword Sparta into Dante, unlocking his true demon form. Rebellion itself fuses with the Sparta sword and evolves into the Devil's Sword Dante. If you like the video, please comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell because otherwise you won't know when I upload my next video. I'm going to be trying to do these week to week, at longest week and a half, hopefully. Share the video too. That would be awesome, huge help. And I have a Patreon that's going to be at the end of the video and in the description below. Thank you.